Well, g'day everyone. Today I thought I'd take you through the three streaming devices that I've used over the last few months and talk about where I like to use each one, the sort of advantages, disadvantages, things like that. And as always, I like to be honest with you guys. I was sent two of these images, which is the Yellow Box and the Live Pro L1. I did purchase the ATEM Mini with my own money. So the three that I actually want to look at is this, and I'll show you on the website first, and then I'll show you the units themselves so you can see what I'm talking about. So let me just switch over to the ones that I'm using. So the one that I'm using at the moment is the ATEM Mini. I've got that on my desk now, so that's what I'm recording through. Now, there are some other ones, obviously, that's out there. There's the ISO version, also the Pro version, so there are different versions of this. But to sort of show you the unit, like I said, I can't show you this due to the fact that I'm using it to record, but to just give you a quick overview of how this works, you can connect up to 4 cameras and you switch basically between the numbers through here. And then you can do cuts and fades and things like that. They have an awful lot of control that you can use through this, like adding effects, transitions and things like that can all be done through these touch controls, including picture-in-picture. And the software that this runs through is really nice. To show you on the back of this just how this works, you can see where you can connect your HDMI inputs, which is 4. You can have 2 microphones attached, and there's also USB out, HDMI out, and your ATEM Mini control uses Ethernet, and then obviously a power button. These are the 3 different units that you can actually get here, which is the ATEM Mini, the ATEM Mini Pro, and the ATEM Mini ISO. Now, I'm not going to talk about the differences really between these much, but the advantage is that if you're into streaming and you want to protect your streams, things like the Pro and also the ISO give you much more expandability or much more protection, because basically they have a small buffer that's built in as well. The ISO model can actually stream 5 separate H.264 video streams, and then you could put them all together later on. And also, I believe with the Pro and the ISO, you can record to a separate disc as well. Like I said, I've got the mini one, which is the basic version. The part that I do love about this, though, is the software, which I'll show you down here. So the ATEM Mini software control is wonderful to use. I mean, it really is very user-friendly. It sort of replicates what you're seeing on the actual unit itself. And this is where you can set audio delay and things like that when you click into the separate menus. So the ATEM software control panel is really good. Also, if you did want to have multi-view, you can use these. You can't with the Mini, but you can with the other 2. You can send it up to a monitor so you can see all the cameras displayed up. So this is a great unit. And sort of to show you the price of this, I just grabbed the Pro version. It's $595. And again, like I said, I'm using this and I love it. I think it's terrific for just streaming if you're on a desk and you're locked down and you can't move around and things like that. Now, the second one that I will show you, and I'll show you these units actually in real life shortly, is the FeelWorld. Now, this one was sent to me a couple of months ago, probably 3 months ago, and I really love this. One of the things that I do really like about this is it shows the display here what camera is connected, so there's no guessing about which one there is when you switch to it, and I think that's a fantastic idea, and I really do love that as well. I like the way sometimes with the ATEM Mini, unless you've got it hooked up to a bigger monitor where you know what camera's connected, with this one you never have to guess, because you always know that camera 2 is that output, and this is terrific too. So this is another great unit, and really I'm tossing all the time between, say, using the ATEM Mini and the FeelWorld Live Pro, and I swap between the 2 quite often. It just depends really on how I feel. If I'm using multiple cameras, like 4 cameras, I would definitely want to use the Live Pro due to the fact that I can see what I'm switching to. But you might have a different opinion if you've got the Pro versions of the ATEM Mini or the ISO version, because you can switch that to a monitor. But that's another piece of hardware that you've got to sort of have running to be able to see what cameras are connected, whereas this is all in one. The price for this is $299, so it's the cheapest of the bunch. Also, this will take 4 HDMI outputs as well. I'm just showing you the back on this one. You can see here where your outputs are connected through the back, or your inputs, and you've got one output. as well. There is an audio out and an audio in. The unit that I had, though, had issues with the audio in. And even with the ATM Mini, I don't use audio in for any of these devices. I'm bringing it in through HDMI, so I really don't use those actually at all. Again, you've got all the features like multi-camera, picture-in-picture, USB streaming and audio embedding and things like that as well. This will use a control panel software. I'm not sure if it shows it. Let me just bring down. This sort of just shows you the display that you've got through here. You can see it's even though it's low resolution, you can clearly see what each display has. You even have the old jog wheel or the T-bar that you can sort of move to the left to side if you want to use that old school and sort of shift it across and control the way that the cameras switch. So you can use the PVW6 picture as well, so you can use it to show your pictures as well, and you can do this on the ATM Mini Pro and the ISO version as well, so that works really terrific as well. So overall, if you're after a cheaper unit, this really is a great device for $299. It really is. And like I said, I mostly use the ATM Mini. I just like the way that it works. But if I'm using 4 inputs and I want to be able to make sure I'm switching to the correct camera on a Live, I would use the Live Pro. Now, the third one that I'm going to show you is this one, which is the YOLO box. And this is fantastic. I got sent this probably around about a month ago, and I've really enjoyed using it. But this is more for a different purpose, and I'll sort of explain about this as we go on. This is, just to show you the price that this is at the moment, it's $899. But this has some other advantages over the other 2 units too that you have to consider, and it depends on how you would like to use it. Again, I am interested in trying to use this just as a switcher as well, and I'm going to work on that in the coming days to see if I can work it as a switcher, because like I said, the YOLO Live I do love because I can see the 4 cameras switching all the time. If you can do that through the YOLO box, and I believe you can, by using the HDMI out, I might use that as a live switcher as well. But this is a great little unit too. Now, it is the most expensive, but there's some things that you've got to consider about this. Well, it's the only device that you can take outside, and it is complete all-in-one unit. I mean, it's got a monitor on it. It's got a battery, internal battery that will run for hours. It's got a Snapdragon 8-core processor inside of this, and you can even use it as a battery bank as well. So there's multiple things that you can do with this that are really good. If we scroll down, I'll just show you how this works. It says here too, it's got the internal encoder, the switcher and monitor, and also it's got a card. You can put an SD card in this and record the video at the same time. So not only can you record to multiple streams like Facebook, YouTube, and I think Twitch soon, you can also record onto the SSD card as well as a backup if you'd like to do that too, or even just use that as your recording device and then upload it later on. There is on the back of this, I'm not sure if it shows it, let me just go to the next page. You can fit on the back of this, it will go 2 HDMI inputs, so you can run 2 HDMI cameras. But if you have something like an Elgato Link, the actual Elgato USB device, you can run 3 cameras through this. So you can have 3 cameras, plus you can run the card as well, which is great. So you've got 4 sort of devices that you can run from there. Plus, you can also do an RNTP pull as well, so you can pull that into the broadcast as well. So there's 5 inputs that you can actually put onto this. But if you do need 4 cameras to connect to this, well, that's one issue where you might say, well, I've got to go to another system. But there's no other way of really getting a system that will let you do all of this for location. You can run a card into this if you like a SIM card, which is also great. This is where you can put your SanDisk card or something like that, your SD card into it as well. And you can determine where you'd like to switch here as well, which is, like I said, Facebook, YouTube, YOLO Live, TechL, and Twitch is going to be coming in the future. So it's a really great little device. So to show you the units themselves, like I said, I can't show you the size, but they're all sort of similar size. I think the ATM Mini is a slightly larger. This one is the Live Pro that you're looking at here, and this is your small display. that you've got through here. I was just looking over there so I can see what I'm looking at. These are where you control your cameras, or like I said, you can use the T-bar to switch between your cameras, and you can see the inputs that we've got on the back through this as well. And there's also an audio in and an audio out on the side here. You've got Ethernet and also USB. And like I said, there is software that you can control on the computer through this as well. And this is where you'll start to use all your effects, and everything else can be controlled through here, and picture and all other things. You can control your transitions and stuff like that as well. So this is a really great unit. Like I said, the ATM Mini, which I've got down below, I discussed that at the beginning, and that is really a terrific unit. I love the software, particularly that connects to the computer. I really like the way that it works. This one here is the Yola box. I absolutely love this device. If you say going on location and things like that, there's really no other solution that you can use out that can run just like this. This is basically a mini computer that you're carrying like this. See, you can use these other devices if you wanted to travel, but you're going to have a monitor, you're going to have your power bricks and everything else, where this is all built in. And the live that I didn't even use a SIM card. I just basically took it off my iPhone. So I just created a network from my iPhone and then just streamed directly to this, and it worked wonderfully. You can stick it directly onto your camera, which is also great. So, and then you can see yourself in the monitor and be streaming at the same time. All of your chats actually show up inside of this feed as well. So you can also be answering your chats at the same time. It has overlays, you've got picture-in-picture, and the interface is just touch screen. So you just touch what you'd actually like to move or change cameras. I love the way that you can change the cameras on this device. It's absolutely wonderful. And I think for the price, where I may use this is something like live weddings. It might be something now that I can offer my brides where I'll say to them, I can stream live for the video. If you wanted to pay a little bit extra, we can go directly to YouTube or Facebook or record it, and then they can share it with their family later on. And I can have up to 3 cameras directly connected into this. So it's a wonderful solution if you'd like to be streaming live somewhere. I mean, obviously you will need a network signal or a SIM card that will work, or like I said, I use my iPhone, or you could use the venue's Wi-Fi. Most, say, wedding venues and things like that will have Wi-Fi unless you're out on location somewhere. So I think this is great as well. But I wouldn't necessarily use this as my desktop setup, and that's not what I'm doing. I'm using this more for my location streaming. Like if I go traveling and I want to sort of show my shoot live, I can directly do this and have a wonderful interface built into this. I can even use it, like I say, as a battery bank if I want to as well. If I'm using a desktop type computer, I would be using the Live Pro or the ATM Mini. The second I'm going to be traveling or whatever, I'll take this because that's all I need apart from a camera. And I think that's a wonderful solution. So I suppose if you need 4 cameras, this is not for you because you can only run 3 from this, but 3 is usually enough. If you do need more than that, you might have to go through another system. If you want to travel without, the minimal sort of amount of gear that you'd like to take, I think this is the way to go, obviously. Apart from that, if you're running it off a desktop, I would recommend the Live Pro or the ATM Mini. I think they're both very, very good for what that they do. And like I said, I will change over depending on how many cameras and things like that I'm connecting. Another thing as well is they seem to upgrade this really constantly. Like it seems to be every 2 or 3 weeks that they've been updating this. And that's one fantastic thing about this, that they've been updating all the time, whereas the updates to the other 2 units are sort of much less. If you have any questions, please leave them down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And apart from that, everyone, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.